Good afternoon, Caminantes.
Woohoo!
We love this time together. So thank you again, one more time. The Caminante podcast. It is a beautiful day here in Florida. Sweetie, you look always amazing when you're prepared and you get ready for this kind of, time.
What about when I don't get ready for this podcast? How do I look?
You look even better.
There
baby.
you go.
Look even better. So, Caminantes, love it. Welcome. Thank you again. It's been a week that we haven't recorded, and I was missing this.
I know, me too. Huge thank you to all of the new subscribers. If you have not hit that subscribe button yet, join the tens of thousands of people. We're almost at 100,000, babe, which is so super cool.
We're heading in that direction, yes.
Thank you guys for being here, being a part of everything that we are doing here at Caminante.
It is special.
Where cultures collide.
And empires rise. That's right.
I love it.
And this episode is it has a treat. It's a special because we're gonna keep talking about the art and mastering things. And I think this is the one. If you didn't hear me the past 11 episodes, let me tell you this. This is the one, right, where the art of reinvention happens. How failure can be your greatest success.
Oh. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
You know, I feel like so many times those cliche quotes that we've heard like all of our lives.
Right.
I don't know if this is just a season of life for that, but it's like they come true. You know, like the Rocky. It's not how many times you fall, it's how many times you get back up. But
that's right. Now it resonates and it's connecting.
That is the truth.
Right.
Like it absolutely makes sense. But I feel like there's so many times where it's hard and you can just get knocked down and it's truly can feel like it's easier to stay there.
It is. And that's why I think, when I think about failure and the topic of this episode, failure isn't the end. It's really the beginning of your greatest comeback.
Oh.
And I think this episode is going to take it to the next level for the Caminante. So thank you again, guys, for being here with us and spend some time, during this podcast every single week.
I'm Tiffany, and this is my amazing, super fun husband, Luis. And we're so excited about everything that's going to happen today during episode 12.
Yes. So, taking it to reinventing, how that can offer a new angle by diving into how failure and setbacks, mistakes, aren't just obstacles, but critical stepping stories to achieving success.
Inspirational and motivational with practical advice for people who feel stuck or afraid of failure, which that was totally me. And as a mom, it's like changed my perspective so much because it's truly failure is something we need to embrace. And this has just helped me so much, even in business. Yes. Like there's so many times where you can just throw in the towel or, you change and you shift and you keep trying new things and because you want to give up.
Right.
You want to give up. And you know what? My senior quote, you're never going to believe this.
Please go for it.
Go up, go over, go around, or go through, but never, ever give up.
I think that works perfectly.
That
for
was
this
my
episode.
senior year of high school.
Think about it. Now it makes sense, right?
And I never knew at my senior year what I would face over the next 20 years. But holy moly, man, it's been quite the walk.
Journey. Well, that's what wisdom is about. It's about experience. The true wisdom comes from experience. You can do too much reading. You can do too much repeating taglines or anything that, it's been taught very early on. But if you don't live it, you don't experience it, it's hard to connect sometimes what that truly means with the reality of life overall.
Totally. And we have to, one thing that I want to teach the boys is do not be afraid to fail. In fact, how many times have you failed? The owner of Spanx, I love her. She shared a story And I know I've said it before, but I like to say it again because it's reinforcement also for myself and for our family and for those watching. Her dad used to ask her when she came home, instead of what did you do good today?
How many times you failed today?
What did you fail at today? How many mistakes did you make today? And even just seeing that in my 4-year-old, asking that question just allows him room to make mistakes, because I feel like a lot of times mistakes can be shamed by others, our parents, ourselves, and it's through mistakes that we learn and we grow. So, remember, didn't we do that? I think we started doing that at the dinner time one time, didn't we?
Yes.
What did you fail at today?
Yes. Well, they're still very young.
Right.
You know, they're trying to connect and see what that means into what they do every single day. But I think we should keep going and doing it because it is important. And I love what you said. You have to embrace failure. I was one of those that really was afraid of failure. And I just don't know if that came because of society, pressure, family, parents. You know, we tend to correct. And we just do so many corrections that at one point I truly think that, do you really think that your kid is just perfect? I mean, are you asking for so much from your kids, right? And we don't give room for failure, which is also great.
Yes.
So, yes, I was one of those that was afraid of failure. But for somehow life actually allowed me to get ahead of it and take risk. And I just don't know how that played out. But I think we're going to use some personal stories. And hopefully by telling it, I can connect the dots.
Yeah.
Yes. So we all been there, right? We all have failed, I believe, at one point in life. When everything falls apart and failure seems inevitable, sometimes either we just run away, we scare, we freeze. But what about if I tell you that failure is just not the end? It's the beginning of that great success that we talk about in this podcast.
Well, and what I love about today is that it's going to create so much awareness and so many aha moments. And I'm a person, like, time is valuable. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want you to waste your time. I want us to learn, grow, press in, see how can we evolve and go further. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And for me, there was such a big moment where I connected. Like, you hear about the fear of failure. I absolutely had that. I did not know I had that.
Right.
Because winning and being number one, and that was like the only way.
Right.
So I didn't even know what that meant until I actually failed.
Yes.
And I was like, I want to give up. And then I was like, wait a second. Why? Because I'm afraid to keep going and keep trying. But it's like through that failure is how you get there. So that's what we're going to talk about. Yes. Reinvention. How the toughest moments in our lives. And my goodness, I mean, we need to do a whole episode on like toughest moments.
We can talk about it. Put it on the list. Give us your feedback. We'd love to hear your comments and see what's next. But what about... Oh, you want to finish? I'm sorry.
That's okay. But it's like those tough moments.
Right.
How those have been the foundation for building something bigger.
And I think this episode, it is for anyone who has ever been knocked down but still wants to rise. So let's talk about how failure can lead to life beyond success.
Yeah. Your wildest dreams. How the biggest failures in our journeys create new opportunities.
The realization that failure is just not a defeat, but how about if it is an invitation to evolve, to adapt, to change, right? To pivot.
So let's talk about it from the psychological perspective, because I feel like when we understand the why behind things, it helps us to connect the dots. And just, really move forward and see some progress with things. I've found that the reason why failure often triggers self-reflection and personal growth is because it's super humbling.
It is.
So
It is. You're right.
how can failure spark resilience and a stronger sense of purpose for those who may be in that position?
Yes, and I like how you segue to humility, because that's exactly what happened to me. You know, when I had, and I guess my major failure so far in life, I decided to take a project to another country. I mean, I had no idea what this country was, culturally speaking, and the challenges that it had on its own. And it was a very difficult process for me to take and accept failure, especially when you're driven and you like success and all what you have known and seen, in the past has been winning. But humility was exactly what that gave me, because it made me realize how much I didn't know,
Right.
how much I thought I knew it wasn't just enough, how unprepared I was, right? Even though I thought I had a great plan and a strategy, it showed me how everything that I did wasn't enough to make it work to the level that actually I was looking for. And that process of humility, of being humble after failure, did a couple of things on me. One, being humble. Two, start building that resilience for you to break through that insecurity phase that you're in, to go back up again and take chances and risk. And that right there, guys, my friends, it is the most challenging process that I've gone through, because when you get hammered and hit so hard after, such a humble experience of what it is failure, it start making you feel insecure. It start making you doubt about yourself. Yeah. It starts, making you feel smaller, because you realize that you just didn't know enough at that time. Why would you know now more, right? Would this be the similar experience that you just had? And that always was in the back of my mind as I was rebuilding myself, because that's what you do. You start putting yourself into pieces. You're shattered, right? You go through this process of I'm not going to say self-destruction, but you go in this process in where everything that you gave it in, especially when you give it all, right? Just having only one outcome, one focus. There's no second place, because sometimes in life, you just don't have that luxury. It's not a competition like a sports that you have second or third or whatever. Sometimes in life, you have only one shot, one opportunity to make it happen. And when you see that get out of your hands and lose it, you start doubting about, will I have another opportunity? Will I have the fire in the belly to redo it again? Will I be able to be naive enough? Because I think that's the other thing. Will I be naive enough to do it again and be willing to take that chance and that risk? Because once you're not naive, and that's actually in the phase that we're kind of living now, is after you've done so much, you start losing that. And you get too calculated measuring risk. And when you get too calculated thinking about what if this happened or what if that happened, because of the knowledge that you have, sometimes that can freeze you. So going through all that was an incredible experience, because I can say after that failure, the best of me and the best version of myself was born after that major failure that I had. So all what I can say, guys, is failures is a part of the process. It's not the end of it. What's important is coming back up stronger, coming back up from a standpoint of willing to learn more, willing to do more, knowing what your limit was when you fail, so that way you can push it even harder this second time around. But never let failure freeze you.
Right.
And that's the fear that I think the fear of failure causes in a lot of people.
Yeah.
Is you just so caught up into failing either again or for your first time that it freezes you, and it doesn't allow you to fully express yourself all the way in whatever project you're doing.
Yeah.
And you're held back because you're always thinking about
what if?
Is this going to be the time that I'm going to fail? Is this going to be the time that I'm going to crash? Is this the time? And I think the only way I was able to overcome it was, great that I'm thinking about the if scenario, but that's not my ultimate goal. That is only for me to consider a strategy to mitigate risk, but that is not my end goal. Put it on the side. So great that it wakes, keeps reminding you, but it never should be your end goal. When you let that to be your end goal and you take all the focus on that, that's what I think things go sideways.
Yeah.
But when you put it on the side and you keep focus on your end goal and you just let it remind you, so that fear transforms into, when you think about what if this happened, I took that fear as I should do more. I should do the extra mile. If I thought that working 6-7 hours, putting a lot of time into this was enough, remember what happened to me a year ago, right? I didn't make it. I didn't do it. So as a consequence, should I work harder? Yes. So that reminder is great. It should not become your end goal to focus all your energy on. It should be just a reminder for you to push your limits and to keep focusing on what the real target is, which is the ultimate goal that you have, either success or whatever that may be. But it inspires you and it gives you that fire inside of you to keep doing more than when you did the time that you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Sounds like something that you may have gone through,
Totally. Right? Well, I love your story, and that business project that may have seemed like a failure, but really was a success because of how you used it. So
yes, it was a big win.
I love that, and I know it's going to help so many people. It's personally helped me. So I love you and thank you and great job, and I'm so proud of you.
I'm going to give you a hug right now if this is what's going to get to that.
You can hug me. Save it for later. And then I also heard, I love what you said, because what is the driving force? Mm-hmm. And I feel like so many times in my life, I've had great success in most things. What was driving me? Was it the fear? Because these things can be great. Like, anxiety can be channeled in a good way.
That's
or
right.
Failure can be channeled in a good way. But I feel like that that can only get you so far.
That's right.
Like, what is really the driving force? And I love that you talked about that, because those things are great because they lead you somewhere,
yes,
but they can take you so far.
Right.
And then what? What's going to drive you? Is it your love for what you do? Is it your love for your family? What inspires you? Exactly like you said. Is it to leave a legacy? Is it to,
yes,
get goals? So failure can either break you or rebuild you. And the key is to choose the right response. And if I could go back and tell my younger self how to handle failures, really it would be to fail more, to have more failures. And when you do fail, don't be so hard on it. I was so hard on myself. So hard. Like, I just think about, because I was a competitive athlete, I was so hard on myself to fail that I didn't want that feeling. So I would limit myself. Like, I should have done more individual competitions. I should have done more quad competitions. I should have done more, but I didn't do more because I didn't want that feeling of failing, when I really should have kept failing and done more. And I feel like I went a long way, but I could have gone even further.
Right. Well, and I think that thought of I should have done more, I think that that is okay, especially for those that are competitive, for those that actually, you know, doesn't settle with the status quo or what's average. Um, because you listen to those influential individuals, you know, Michael Jordan and other different individuals that I can think of quite a few in my mind, and that's their mentality. I could have done more. What if I spent 5 more minutes on the court?
Yeah.
What if I could have done one extra day a week, right? And I think that's a winning mentality. So I just don't know if removing that is the answer, or combining the what if I could have done more, but then what could you have taken from that failure that you could use it for your next opportunity? Because if you look at the stories, you know, from different entrepreneurs, uh, you definitely see that the critical lessons learned by them is after the business initially failed.
Right.
You know, you look at the founder of McDonald's. I mean, he really was able to put everything together towards the end of his life after trying and trying and trying and trying. You know, how do you call the innovator when it comes to the electricity and the bulb and
Einstein.
and you know they try so many times, and it's just part of the process, failing in order to make it work.
Right.
So you know, starting over sometimes is really the best move you can do. Is how you do it, which I think is crucial. Building from scratch, I believe that's how entrepreneurs in the Caminante community should walk the path. So I would love that you guys share some of those experiences that you may have had in your journey, in your individual journey, or that you may have actually heard from somebody, because those are the journeys that really move and motivate me. You know, from time to time, I just look documentaries and some of those different videos that you see in the TV or either other different channel venues, and that's what moves me. What do you do? How do you feel? How do you overcome it? And now where are you now after that?
Yeah.
That's what really inspired me.
I love it. And I think that it can be, just as a mom reflecting on our own conversation right now, I think it can be taught from such a young age. And how failures or mistakes can really be encouraged. It's just hard, especially as a mom, and I'm sure a father. You're like, if one more thing spills in this house, you know, you're just like, but kids are messy, and great job spilling the whole thing and cracking
Great
the glass
failure.
every
Hopefully
year.
you grow after that.
Great job. No, but how cool would it be if, imagine, you know, like, I know it's hard because things get broken. We have 2 boys, 2 toddlers. So most things are like destroyed or broken, or there's a whole lot of love and a whole lot of laughter. And we have a lot of fun, but my goodness.
Well, here's the thing. At the end of the day, either from the kid standpoint or, you know, a student or either a business owner or entrepreneur, I mean, every entrepreneur who has succeeded has failed. That's just the natural law of things. And only one or two, many times, it is part of the process. So it is about how you pivot and use that failure to come back even stronger. Just like the story that I just shared. I mean, I was reborn after that process that I went through.
Yeah.
I really felt, and the crazy thing is that after that, and how shocked I was that, and humble, right, of such a failure experience, it didn't take 2 months, and I was back on it. Broke, with no money, a second time.
Failed credit.
Rebuild credit again. That took me a long time, but most importantly, the fear of failure, I was overcoming it as I was embracing this opportunity, because an idea just came, and it came very quickly, of how to rebuild myself. And And then how do you start doing it all over again, putting all the different pieces together, right? Again, with no money and with that trauma that you have in your mind, because you got to overcome that trauma in order to take another adventure. From time to time, it takes longer to recoup, but the opportunity just arises at the moment. So I'm glad that I was able to be brave enough at that moment, because that venture that I did right after my failure started opening the doors for me and for my family and how we are today. Because from that time on, things start arising again. And that's why I do believe that when you survive and you come back after a failure, you do it way stronger. But you got to do it.
Yeah. I love it. I just want to tell you that this is speaking to my heart so much right now. And I just feel like this episode's going to do so much. I'm working on a project right now where I just, like, I keep hitting some walls, and I'm like, there's no stopping. There's no stopping me. We're going to figure this out, but it's just that the true success is in your ability to get back up, keep learning, keep pivoting, keep adjusting, keep moving, and truly never ever give up, because that's where the good stuff happens.
Yes.
Like, I don't feel it right now,
yes.
but I know. Rocky.
Oh, love that movie.
And the boys,
it's in my DNA.
They love that,
We cultivated that. We really did.
And I just hope that resides deep within them, so that they can lean on it.
They will. We have introduced that. Just a little bit in the back, please. We cultivated that when Luisito was 2 years old. We really did very early on, Eye of the Tiger and this and that and the music. We'll go to wake him up and just put the music. But you start that early on. It's just that motivational part of it. But, talking about on this episode, success isn't a destination.
Right.
And I think that's a misconception, that you think that, okay, I reach it and that's it. It's a destination and now I'm happy. And I think it's not about that. It is about the lessons that you learn through the process, the resilience gain along the way. That's what true success is, because it's an ongoing thing, right? It's just not achieve it, that's it, right?
Right.
It isn't a destination. It is a process. How you embrace failure, either in business and life, that can lead to greater fulfillment and growth in your life. I don't think success is about monetary or what you achieve or what you have. It is that process. It is the whole package that comes with it as you go on the way.
And who you become in that process. Like, so many great successes are those that happen internally.
Yes.
And those are truly the most rewarding, where you're like, man, it would have been super easy to do it this way. And I probably could have gained more, even monetarily, but I chose to do it the right way.
And that gave you more fulfillment.
Yeah.
I think we have to, some point, and it's beautiful because it's raining here, but at one point you have to kind of like redefine what success is. Like, what kind of metrics or measurements do you use in order to define success? Because society tells us that is either it's money or status. Right. And I think we're so wrong to really think about success like that.
Right.
I think you have to come up with your own terms what that looks like. Is it be financially independent and stable and be with your family, success? Is it having a strong relationship, spiritual relationship with God, called success? Is it, long-term relationships, marriage, friendships, how that looks like, right? Is it all the above? Okay. The financial piece is important, but is it really the only one? Is it only the status of who am I in society in order to really define success? So I will leave that to you to come up with your own terms of what that is for you, because with your feedback, it'll help us to even redefine our own terms of success. So we ask the listeners, the audience, what was a failure that eventually led to your biggest success? We would love that you actually can share that.
Well,
I think you have something, right?
Yeah, and this was so good. I loved hearing about this because one listener shared, I failed at my first business, but it pushed me to explore a passion that I never thought I could make money on.
I love that.
And now she's doing what she loves, and it's better than she ever imagined. And this is, I just love that because it's very similar. We just need to redefine the whole thing because so often we have our mindset on something that we want, and that's great. Push for it. But also, if it's opening up other doors,
why not?
Learn, grow, say yes.
Yes.
Keep trying.
Yes. I agree.
Press in.
I
Don't
agree.
bounce.
Well, and that's the power of failure. If you embrace it and you learn from it, keep sharing the stories with us because that's what really help us as a community, right? As we continue to grow, we're almost already in the 70,000 subscribers, and I think this is becoming a very powerful community, because the way it's becoming quite engaging in the matter of you sharing, we sharing, we talking a little bit about different topics of growth, entrepreneurship, and things in between that allow us to continue growing as not only individuals, but as caminantes.
I love it. Keep walking.
Keep walking. Do it again, sweetie. I love how you do
man.
it. Keep walking.
I'm gonna keep walking. I love it. Thank you. That's it, you guys, for today's episode of Caminante, where we redefine failure and show you through our personal experiences and failures how it can really be the beginning of something extraordinary.
I agree. So, if today's episode hit home for you, subscribe, leave a review, share it with somebody. I mean, please don't hold it for you. Keep sharing it because that way we can influence and multiply this, throughout not only online but beyond borders to someone that actually need extra push to bounce back from their setbacks. So please continue to be a true caminante, sharing this kind of information so that way we can actually change, what would you say, the world?
Yeah.
Is that really?
Absolutely.
Love that. So subscribe where, sweetie? Tell us about it.
Subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Be sure you follow us over on Instagram and TikTok, Facebook, The Caminante Pod. Share this episode with someone who needs just some encouragement.
Yes.
Some push.
Some inspiration.
Never, ever, ever give up.
That's right. Keep pushing forward. Love you, Caminantes. Thank you once again for being with us this time at our podcast. Until the next one, and have a great day. Thank you, guys. Love you all. I love you, sweetie.
Love you more, babe.